2018 at 5:30 p.m. I would now like to call this meeting to order, and we will open with our invocation and pledge of allegiance from Council Member Mello. Would you please stand and bow your heads?
Dear Lord God, Holy Father, thank you for the opportunity to come here and do the city's business. I pray that you'll keep us in your will. These things I pray in your holy Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Council Member Mello. On to item 3, motion. Item 3A, motion finding that the advance posting and notice requirements of Article 8.1200 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Orange, Texas have been met in relation to all minutes and pending ordinances and resolutions on this agenda, and that the reading of such items be confined to the captions as are agreed upon by the ordinances and resolutions. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to number 4, approval of minutes. A, June 26th, 2018, Orange Economic Development Corporation meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. August 6th, 2018, special call city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
August 7th, 2018, special call city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
August 9th, 2018, special call city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And August 14th, 2018, regular city council meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
At this time, we will move on to item 5, citizen comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. Your comments are appreciated. As the Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to respond to items not listed on the agenda, your comments will be duly noted by the council and forwarded to the appropriate department for prompt consideration. At this time, the first name that I have on the list, and please state your name and your address when you approach the podium, is the Honorable Miss Essie Belfield.
Greetings, I'm Essie Belfield, 1907 Lane Street. I ask you for 1 extra minute. I want to thank the city manager and the police chief because we had problems. And I came up and told them, I said, well, I need you. And they were there like that. So I want to say thank you to Sean and to our police chief. Thank you so much. The next thing I want to say, you're going to laugh. They were having a meeting of what the police were going to get, and I'm just going to go to support them. Guess what happened? I went to sleep.
Oh, man.
So that's my first minute. I want to say, I asked y'all to put a sign on the water tower on Simmons Drive. Do you know that is the highway? And we need an orange sign up on that water tower. Now, don't tell me $30,000. Whatever it is, put it up there. We need a sign because if they go into the waterfront, they'll be there. We are losing people in this city. And we have to do what we can to keep them here. We got Northway Shopping Center, nothing. We got this, nothing. See what we can do to keep the people here. We need some businesses on this side of town. I have a lot to say. The professional building, the hospital. I'm down at the county just pleading with them for that hospital. I was there and they laid the first brick for that hospital. I know what we got. We got the beds, we got the linen, we got the kitchen, we got the lavatory, we got somebody to put the cadavers in, we got somebody to burn the whatever. And we need that hospital. If we can't, and I've been to the doctors, y'all. They said, well, Belfield, we can't get the doctors. I said, try. And y'all do the best we can because that hospital we need to get it. Look like I see somebody from the county up here. If you listen to me. We need to do what we can about that hospital. It's in good shape. I ride around and look at it. So happened, the doctor told me I had to have some blood. I said, oh, Lord, what kind of blood am I going to get? And I went, this is my first time in my lifetime. I said, I wonder if it's an alcoholic drug or what kind of blood. And I've been crazy ever since. But I wanted to say that. And I'm going to ask y'all to ride around with me. Don't you go by yourself. Do you know there's a yacht in a yard? Somebody got a big old yacht in the yard. And Tarzan Jungle is right here. All the bushes, scratch your head, all the bushes, we need to clean it up. Now don't say we can't do it, we don't have this, we don't have, get some money and hire somebody. I had to have a tree cut out and I had to call somebody. Let me see, check the water hydrants. Where's the fire department? Have y'all seen the water hydrants? They're supposed to be red. Have you seen them? They need painting. When I was here, we bought 55 gallons of red paint. And we painted those water hydrants. Right now, you don't know if they color or my color. They need cleaning. Another thing needs cleaning in Orange. Go down to the professional building down there. There's a mailbox down there. And y'all, I curse. And Lord, forgive me for cursing. I said, what in the hell are they doing with this being a mailbox? Go down there and look. As long as we let this happen in our city, we don't have anything to be proud of. So please see what we can do for these things. I'm gonna try to get my 2 pennies in. Check the water fountains, and we have to clean Cooper's Gully. When I was here at Cooper's Gully, Galveston said something. What we had to get from Galveston city manager, do you remember?
I'm sorry.
He's sorry. He told me. Well, we had to get permission from Galveston. Cooper's Gully needs to be cleaned out. It is horrible. You go down there and look. Don't take my word for it. It's all grown up and everything in that gully. I got all this wrote down, and I'm gonna sit down. I asked you for an extra minute. Well, that extra minute was when I was supposed to be there for the police and went to sleep on them. TV, we don't come on TV no more. What can we do to get ourselves on the TV? I was hoping that they used to come on TV. We don't come on there no more. I don't get to come down here. So happened, I have a new pastor, and this is him, and he brought me here. I can't come by myself anymore. When you get to 84, 85 years old, you're lucky to be here, period. Yeah. So we need to see if we can get back on that television. We got all kinds of excuses. We don't have money, but we got money for salaries.
Yes, ma'am.
Think about it.
Yes,
Think about it.
Thank you, Ms. Belfield.
And I need to sit down, huh? Outside of, look at the police of law and what have you. The police seem to be a nice thing they're doing. I see them all the time. I blink at them and wink at them so they don't give me a ticket for going fast. One pulled me over and said, you got a light out on your car. I said, what? He said, if you buy the bulb, I'll put it in. Now, that's caring. You know, and that's where we should be about everybody, not one person, everybody. If we can help somebody, then my living won't be in vain, yours either. It's if you can get a bulb, I'll put it in there. And
Amen.
I'm going to sit down.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Ms. Belfield.
Thank you, Ms. Belfield. God bless you. Next up, we have Mr. Eli Tate.
Have to watch my minutes too.
Thank you, Mr.
I
Tate.
just want to reacquaint myself with everyone here. I see a
got
few
one already.
familiar faces, many that I haven't seen before and that don't know me. My name's Eli Tate. My wife and I started the Swamp and River Tour business here in the year 2000. You see those attractions are not new ones. They've been here for many years. Only half of them still here. Probably only half of the people still here in the buildings. We've went through a lot, but a lot has not changed. What hasn't changed is the reason I do business here and started in 2000. One is all those incredible world-class attractions for me to split groups up to. We run 25 miles of beautiful scenery in a fast but quiet boat. I stop to recount rich history of the area, and also to show people the miracles of nature, which are all around if you go out regular. The key to my business is thousands of trips in the same boat. You see things you wouldn't see if you go out there once in a while. We chose Orange, and people always said, why Orange? Well, we live in a unique area. We have on the river here some of all the type swamps that exist in North America. Only place that has it. No one lives along that stretch that I use from Pine Bluff down to Orange. So it makes a beautiful and natural surroundings. The other attractions here allow us to split our groups up. A bus trip, half of them will go on our trip, the other half go to the Stark Museum. One of the other attractions, Shangri-La, that'll be reopening. And then they all eat together and then they switch out. So we do a lot of day trips. Most of our business is individuals, families. It could be everybody. School systems, scout groups, senior groups from Houston. The problem for us was the major hurricanes, like it was for everybody. We closed for 9 years because the swamp was decimated. Everything starved to death, but not hurricane, but the Toledo Bend flood or Deweyville flood. As much as I hated to see it, it flooded our office on 8th Street and I-10, but it did revitalize the swamp. It flushed out it reversed the negative effects of all the saltwater intrusion. Now there's more eagles, there's more flowers, there's more nature and wildlife than ever before. So it's all back, and so I came back from South America a while back and restarted our business. We will be taking the same kind of trips. We've been doing it for a year, and I look forward to working with the city council, the mayor, the other attractions as we've done before. If you check with, most of the guard has changed. Before we did business through Cecil Broom, through Jim Clark, different other ones, but I see most of the people have changed, but we're the same and the swamp is the same. I look forward to working with you guys to boost the educational opportunities that we have here in Orange, and as well the entertainment facilities and things. A facility is nothing unless people go there. The reason they go there, there's restaurants, there's hotels, but if you have no reason to come to Orange, why stay in a hotel here? Restaurants and hotels make it enjoyable and convenient for the people that come, but they come here to see the little mom and pop businesses and attractions, Shangri-La, and the other things. Look forward to working with you guys.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Ms. Laura Aranda.
Hi, Laura
Hello.
Aranda, 840 Norbert, Bridge City, Texas. When my daughter found out that I was coming to speak, she told me to ask for a new coffee shop. So my 12-year-old would love to have a coffee shop here in Orange. But I'm here for a more important reason. I wanted to bring to your attention human trafficking and the importance of knowing that this is the third largest crime, only behind drug and weapon trafficking. Every year, there's over 20,000 American runaways, And at least 1/3 of these kids fall into the hands of pornography and prostitution on the streets. And social media has a great deal influence on these young people's lives. I have been researching this. I published a book to help bring awareness in 2017, and I am on the Southwest Louisiana Abolitionist Board of Directors, but I live here in Texas, and I would love to see us join hands with Louisiana, because the I-10 corridor between Houston and Lake Charles is a hot spot. And I do speak to the parole officers in Lake Charles as well as here in Orange. And I would love for us to somehow create a abolitionist group here in our area that can help. Beyond awareness, which is what my book brought, was awareness. We need intervention and we need restoration. And I attend a Pentecostal church here in Orange, pastored by Gary Wheeler, and we've started small groups for troubled teens. We've started small groups in our home for families, so there's a safe place for people to be able to talk about situations going on in their life. But if there's something that this community, this county could do collectively, I would love to see that, and I would love to be a part of that. I don't know if I'll take my 3 minutes, but I am working on creating an emotional healing and restoration curriculum for sexual abuse survivors, and that's my next project. I'm working on book 2 to go along with that. And if anybody has any questions, I would love to talk to y'all about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your work.
Yes, thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Please just step up, say your name and your address, please.
My name is Alan Mesker, and at 704 10th Street. First thing is, the good thing I've seen lately was met up with Sergeant Taylor and was able to corner one of the dumpers over on North Street. So he was able to ticket him, have him pick up all the trash and debris that he dumped in the ditches and on the street. So that was a real good thing. And I hope he finds him the maximum. I think he says about $500. So that would be good. I think you have to see more of that. Littering, it's disgusting. The other thing was raising property taxes here. We have multiple houses here, rentals, so it affects us multiple times, not just once. I have 3 houses that are not fully repaired yet, and so we have people leaving, a lot of them not coming back. I don't know how many houses haven't been touched other than being gutted. So I think it's a poor time to raise taxes when everybody's hurting and trying to get back on their feet. The other thing was, well, I go at City Hall quite often to pay water bills and stuff. And very poor curb appeal. The ground should be kept up at City Hall. I mean, it should be, it's one of the jewels of Orange, supposedly, and it looks trashy. Parking lot is like a big pothole. I don't know how many times it's been pothole fixed over potholes. I don't know, like, just, it's not that big of an area that it couldn't be paved. The plants, I mean, maybe some mulch would help them. They all look like they're half dead. So I know I've been to other cities, and City Hall is a respectable place to go and do business. Let's see what else. In the natatorium, it's a shame that is becoming to be rotten away to be replaced. I think it was maintained and managed better, we would not be tearing that thing down or even thinking about it, and replace it with some kind of splash pad. Orange already has one, which is, I've seen it operating twice over here in Navy Park, and I go by there 2-3 times a day because I have property over on North Street and around the area. That thing's been on twice that I know of. So I don't know what the purpose of that was. And I would hate to see an auditorium replaced by something like that. No one's gonna use it. We have parks around the city. Every park I went to, there was picnic tables, some benches, something to use. Some of them are really nice lawns here, but that's it. They're not used for anything, maybe a special event. So it's not a park to me. Let's see. So I think that's, oh, the other thing was about the hospital. People don't stay here. You gotta have a hospital. Somebody gets sick, you gotta go to Beaumont or Port Arthur. Okay, if we can't get to, I think the city and the county and the state should get together and get the VA in here. The veterans there's nothing for the veterans, they gotta go to Houston. So they're traveling from Louisiana all the way to Houston. And if it was the VA operating it here, you'd be pulling people from all over coming here. That means gas, food, shelter. It would spur the economy. You gotta get new businesses in Orange, because it's dying. And we just can't keep tapping the homeowners for more money, more money, more money. I hope we can do something about this stuff. That's it, thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Please state your name and your address.
I'm Roland Buckner at 1404 Cherry. And I just want to make a few comments about the natatorium. I read in the paper that it's going to cost all this money to make all these repairs. But in that article was nothing about the people that use it. And when it's open, I use the natatorium. And there's an adult fitness swim between 6 and 8 o'clock. And I don't know how many of you people sitting here today have been to the natatorium at that time, but if you go there about 7:30, it's full. The parking lot is full. There's a lot of people that just go who maybe have problems walking. They can get in the water and get some exercise in, doing laps. I've gone in the afternoon when families are there, moms, dads, kids jumping around in the water. I think that if you want to look at things that the city already has that you can keep, that keep people here, that provide quality of life for the citizens of Orange, the natatorium is something that you can improve on and help the city.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the council? Okay, at this time, I will close the citizen comments and move on to item 6A, presentation. Presentation on a plan for making 16th Street clean, inviting, and safe for citizens and visitors. Mr. Nall.
Yes, sir. A few weeks ago, we were asked to prepare a plan for 16th Street, just to start to try to address some of the problems on 16th Street. And so what I want to do is just give you a very brief overview of the plan that's in your packet. Take about 5 minutes to just hit the highlights. The problems with 16th Street include some places have litter, high grass and weeds. There's a hodgepodge of business signs and banners. Some of the facades are outdated, they're showing their age. The parking lots in front of buildings, they don't give it the look of a downtown feel. You know, they're very functional and everything, but they just don't have that curb appeal that you see in some other places. We don't have anything at the entrances to 16th Street off of I-10 or off of Green Avenue that let people know that they're entering a special area. It doesn't have any statues, fountains, other amenities that give the area an inviting look that you experience in other places. And in some, basically 16th Street lacks charm. It's very functional. You know, people can go there and shop and access is easy in and out, but it just doesn't have the charm that some other places have. The goal is to make 16th Street clean, inviting, and safe for citizens and visitors. We've proposed a number of approaches, and no single approach is likely to be successful in making 16th Street clean, inviting, and safe. It takes a combination of public officials, private individuals, organizations to really make improvements along 16th Street. Some of the approaches require money, and all of them require time and effort. And then each approach has pros and cons, and I won't go with the pros and cons tonight because I know you have a very long agenda, but just want to hit some of the approaches. One approach is we should conduct a public meeting of the property owners along 16th Street to receive their inputs and ideas. They may have some really good ideas about how to improve 16th Street, and I think we owe them the opportunity to tell us what their ideas are and what they see that they need. The city could conduct a survey through the city's website to get the general citizens' perceptions of 16th Street. What do they really think about 16th Street? And they may have some good ideas as far as how to make 16th Street more inviting and safe and a better experience. The mayor could send a letter to all the property owners along 16th Street, encouraging them to keep their properties neat and clean. Sometimes just a simple act, of getting a letter from the mayor, may persuade some people. And then I found that whenever you send a letter, it's always helpful to have a follow-up visit, to say, hey, I sent you a letter, I just want to reemphasize, get to know you better, get your ideas. Sometimes people just need to be asked, for their ideas.
Yes.
The city council could pick up trash along 16th Street once a year. I know some other cities, during the Great Texas Trash Off, their city council will actually go out, and pick up a stretch of street and everything. And that shows a real political willingness and really emphasize, from the political leadership, how important cleanliness is to the community. The Public Works Department could create and install no littering signs, keep orange beautiful signs along 16th Street. Sometimes signage helps. Some people it doesn't. Some people are just that way. But other times it's just a reminder, hey, this is our home. Let's keep it clean. The city could develop a public relations campaign through social media and the website, encouraging residents and businesses to keep all of Orange clean, not just 16th Street, but all of Orange. This is where we live, and this is what we're proud of. So we just need to spruce it up a little bit. The city should join Keep Texas Beautiful organization. That's a state-private organization. And we may get some good ideas from joining Keep Texas Beautiful from what other cities have done. And then sometimes Keep Texas Beautiful will also give monetary awards to cities that have undertaken beautification efforts. Code enforcement could adopt a zero tolerance policy towards litter, high grass, and weeds and other ordinance violations. And really emphasize and just really be more aggressive in our approach. One thing we could do is use the code enforcement officer for a 60 to 90-day period just on 16th Street, just to work with people and convince people that it's to everybody's benefit, the business owner as well as the public's benefits, to have a very neat, attractive, inviting appearance. That helps all of us. The city could encourage or pay youth organizations to pick up litter along 16th Street. I think it'd be kind of neat if some of the youth organizations as a fundraiser, maybe during the school year, say, okay, we'll pick it up, the second weekend in October or whatever, and then have people contribute, to them, and then maybe at the end of the year they could take a field trip or something like that, but have a variety of organizations do that as a fundraiser. And then, have people willing, to at least make a donation, that people make donations for people that will walk a marathon. Why not make a donation for people that will pick up the main street in Orange? The city could establish a 16th Street work crew to maintain properties, a work crew with an employee, a pickup, the cleaning equipment, and a trailer. The picture here is called a MadVac, and when I was in Baytown, we actually bought one of those. It's essentially a golf cart with a giant vacuum on it. And it has an arm that reaches out. The operator can actually reach out the arm and reach out and grab litter. Rather than just wait to drive over it, he can actually reach out on sidewalks, on parking lots, hard to reach places, and really suck up the litter. And we were well pleased with it in Baytown. The Orange Economic Development Corporation could create financial incentives to help business owners along 16th Street fix up their properties. You know, other communities sometimes have facade improvement programs, and I think we have actually tried that in the past. But, you know, sometimes people need a little bit of financial help to improve the appearance of their properties. A public improvement district could be created for the 16th Street area. And what a public improvement district does is it's a special taxing entity, but all the taxes from that district go back into improvements for that district. You can't take taxes out of that district and use it somewhere else in town. It has to be for the improvements of that district. So, you know, that could be an idea that, you know, could be explored. And then, you know, once if you do that and then have the funding, then you could create a design overlay district for 16th Street, you know, by which the signage and the architectural features and the landscaping and other aspects, the lighting, the benches, the you know, trash cans and everything could be part of that design overlay district, so that you have a coordinated look, you know, to the area, that it's not just individual kinds of things, but people working together to come up with a common look, so that when you enter it, you go, this was a planned area, this is neat, this has charm, you know, and you know, come back and shop and visit and eat and other things along 16th Street. And then the Orange Economic Development Corporation could attract high-end retail, and that takes a long, long time. I mean, our per capita income isn't what the Woodlands or South Lake or Austin or some of those have. But again, I think we need to keep trying. I think we need to at least try to give, you know, people that serve a more high-end retail to that, because then that will spawn and that will curtail, you know, that if they fix up their building, then other people may want to fix up their buildings as well, or their parking lots. So what I've outlined in the plan and here today is a ramping up of approaches, that some require little time and little effort, and others require a great deal of time and great deal of effort, but it's a ramping up of the approaches. You may not want to do all of them, may want to do some of them or none of them, but you know, that's the approach we take, is that we start small, try a few things, but keep building to where we get that ultimate look of 16th Street and just the ambiance, just the environment, you know, to make people want to go back to 16th Street, you know, to do nothing but just walk the streets and shop and visit or eat and, you know, just really enjoy the 16th Street experience. In conclusion, there's a variety of approaches that can be taken to address the problems on 16th Street. Again, there are no easy, single, quick fix solutions to the problems. You know, if there was something easy, we would just snap our fingers and it would be done. But it's not easy. You know, and I don't want to give you the impression that any one of those approaches are the magic bullet to solve all the problems. Improvement requires the commitment and dedication of top officials, citizens, and businesses. It takes all of us working together and coming together and seeing the vision, seeing the plan, and then implementing the plan, you know, to make 16th Street an experience that people really, really enjoy. But the most important consideration with any plan or any activity is the willingness to begin. You know, if you don't have the willingness to begin, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to start.
Mayor and Council, we would ask that y'all take this and read it, and then when you're ready to schedule direction to the staff on what priorities you want to implement, or if you have some new ideas to implement on your own, we'll take that and put it into action for you, and we'll just wait for further advice from the council.
Okay. Mr. Knopf, thank you. We brought this up about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, and you took the simple request and you definitely expanded upon it. Great PowerPoint, I appreciate it. Some of the things that you listed, it was awesome, because I've seen council working together on some of these things already. And we just created a Facebook page. Ms. Who came up with the name? Miss Terry, and it's called Trash Talk, and it's about improving the litter in Orange, and it's on Facebook, and it's open and welcome to all citizens in the public. And basically, it'll be second Saturday of each month. And it'll have the locations of where all the different groups and entities in Orange can join to help clean up the city. But once again, thank you for this presentation. If there's any other comments from council.
Thank you so much. I just want to say it starts with us. I mean, each person, you have to do your part. I mean, this is your home. And when you come out of your home, just like you want your inside of your home, you want the outside. When I go down the street, I want it to remain and look really inviting to people, you know. That's how we're gonna draw people here to our community, you know. I don't wanna, if there's something that I need to do, go to the movies or something, I don't wanna take my money to Beaumont or to other places, because once I go there to go to the movies, then I'm gonna go get something to eat. Then I'm gonna maybe want to purchase something. So my money leaves and it doesn't come back to my community. I live here. Let's take care of home and let's shop locally and let's take care of where we live.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful place.
We'll wait to
And
hear
thank-
from further instruction from y'all.
All right.
Thank you so much.
I just
A
want
lot
to
of
let
research
Orange,
was put into that.
I just want to let the trash know that Orange, Texas is coming for
That's
you.
it. We're gonna put that on, we're gonna put that on Facebook. We're coming for you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay, on to item 7, first public hearing on proposed tax increase. Item 7A, conduct a public hearing on the proposed tax rate for fiscal year 2019. Announce following dates, times, and locations. Second public hearing on tax, September 11th, 2018 at 9 a.m. at the Orange Public Library Auditorium, which is the council chambers. And the vote on tax increase, which will be on September 25th, 2018 at 5:30 p.m. at the Orange Public Library Auditorium, which is the council chambers. Ms. Zito.
Yes, good evening, Council and Mayor. The proposed tax rate that y'all agreed upon as proposed only was published in the newspaper. It's .83004. It is below the rollback. And this is a public hearing for citizen comments to adopt a tax rate. And I wanted to let citizens also know that as a council and staff, we're working to work on our budget so that we adopt a rate that is lower than that. That is just a proposed.
That's right.
That was that example we talked about in the first workshop where once you set a tax rate and you either make your calculations aren't right or anything like that, you can't go above that rate. And so this is a rate to set where you work down more towards the effective rate. And so far, y'all have cut, I think we were down around the $700,000 deficit range at the last workshop. So this is the first of 2 public hearings that are mandated that you have to have. We open up the floor.
Yeah, so as we open it up for public comments, as Dr. Ubri just said and as Ms. Zito said, we want to reiterate that council and staff have worked, I believe we've had 3 or 4 meetings to come and find every way possible to cut every extra dollar, every extra expenditure possible to ensure that we do not have to raise taxes. This is in no way, shape, or form anyone up here wants to raise taxes on anybody. Some people up here lost everything just as citizens out there did, so we are doing our very, very best. But at the same time, this city has to operate. And so we have to do what's right, not only for the citizens, but also to make sure that this city is run properly. So if there's anyone who would like to make a comment at this time, please come to the podium and state your name and address. Okay, if there is no one that would like to address the council, do I need to close this out, Ms. Patricia?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I will close the public hearing and move on to item 8A, ordinances, first reading. Consider an ordinance amending the adopted budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2017 and ending on September 30th, 2018, in accordance with the charter of the City of Orange, Texas. Ms. Zito.
Yes. Okay, as we're working on our budget for next year, we're also wrapping up current year. And so we always have 2 rounds of budget amendments. First one we already did was in May. This is our last round for 2018. On page 57, you'll find the ordinance. On page 60, you'll find my summary of the amendments. And you'll see that the second round is not, we did not have that many. For the general fund, we're increasing revenue, $208,000, and increasing expenses, $218,000. Water and sewer, increased revenues 26, increased expenses only 6. Sanitation, increase in revenue 162,000 and expenses 58. That is a lot to do with Harvey. FEMA money, insurance money coming in. On the next page, 61, you'll find the exact list of every amendment and its explanations. You'll see in the descriptions, most of it is Harvey related. We had a few adjustments, like in the middle of the general fund, $10,000. We determined credit card service charges needed a little adjustment, so we adjusted that. We had some sale of property, but for the majority is FEMA receipts or FEMA expenses related to Harvey. And also on page 63 is the report that we print out from our software that lists not only all of these budget amendments that actually amend the budget amounts, it's also lists all of our line item transfers. Line item transfers are when we just move money from one category to another within a department or within a fund. Doesn't affect the bottom line, we're just shifting. You know, maybe we didn't spend as much office supplies, but we might need it in maintenance. So that's our way to do that, to keep our balanced budget. So that's our report on that from our software. And so we recommend that you approve our amendments.
I make a motion to approve as presented.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Zito.
How's that software working? Because it changed not real long ago.
Man, the entire council.
Yeah, well, good.
On to item 8B, first reading. Consider an ordinance by the City of Orange, Texas, city denying the rate increase request of Energy Texas Incorporated filed on May 15th, 2018, finding that the meeting complies with the Open Meetings Act, making other findings and provisions related to the subject, and declaring an effective date. Dr. Ubry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is another one of those rate increases that you have a right to intervene and table the rate increase for 90 days usually. In this case, that gives both parties time to review the documents to support the rate increase or negotiate a lower rate increase. And so this is just tabling the item, not putting the rate increase into effect until both parties have had time to negotiate, and the Public Utilities Commission has had time to review and hear from both parties involved.
Are we using the same person to represent us? And he's been doing this for how long?
Well, I would say at least 20 years.
20 years. So that's good.
Yes.
While it's only temporary, we have the best person working.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 9, resolutions. Second reading, consider a resolution approving the PATV and Power Sports Properties LLC agreement concerning an infrastructure grant not to exceed $192,000 related to eligible infrastructure improvements, including site work, building foundation, and plumbing for the purpose of economic development. First reading was August 14th of 2018. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. Again, this is the second and final reading of the public approval process. After you take action tonight, then city staff can work with the project owner, Mr. Brent Ritchie, to go ahead and move the project forward by executing the agreement. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Do I have
Jay,
a
how
motion?
far is it out? It's 1.8 miles west of Highway 62, adjacent to Hydrotite. That's in the City of Orange ETJ. At a later date, we'll visit a friendly annexation request after we work through the initial agreement of the EDC incentive.
How far are we allowed to go out?
Right now, the ETJ extends all the way out to 1442 along the interstate, which also brings in the Crawdads location. So that's currently where we are
I
at
thought
this
it was
point.
since Crawdads was in the city.
I make a motion.
Second.
Okay, make a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
This motion passes. On to item 9B. Consider a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with Arsenault Wilson and Cole LLC, Fitz and Shipman Incorporated, and Schaumburg and Polk Incorporated to provide engineering services on behalf of the city of Orange. Ms. Brown.
Mayor, Council, this is going to be in relation to the work that's been done for the mitigation grants that we'll have coming up that Greg Wolf has been working with us on. So we'll just need those services for that.
How long have they been in contract with the city?
Who's that?
All three of these guys?
They're not in a contract with us right now.
They're not?
No.
So they don't have contracts with you now, you're just using them?
Let me back up. There's not a current contract with the city on disaster recovery. Some of these firms have done services for the city, be it water and sewer, pump, streets, but other types of contracts. The reason why we've got to bring this to you is, ruled by FEMA, these people have to be under contract to be able to do work and advise the city on how to pull these projects together so we can apply for mitigation services. But the problem is, the person that's giving us front-end advice is conflicted on bidding on the project, and that's why you have three different services here.
So they're not under contract?
Right now, for mitigation, no, ma'am.
Okay. I guess I'm the only one that's lost. I'm lost. I'm admitting I'm lost.
When we do the mitigation projects, there's certain aspects of those projects that require engineers to come in and tell us what we need to do. And so not every engineer does, and I'm not an engineer person by no means, but not every engineer is specialized in the process. So that's why it takes different engineers in order to say, okay, for this project, you need to be able to do this. And then maybe some of Jim Wolf's projects will need a different engineer to assist with that project. So it's a matter of their specialties of whatever they, are working in, is why we have the three listed down there.
Okay, that I understand. But if they're giving you advice and helping you through this, they have to be paid by somebody.
They will be paid by the grant, is my understanding.
That's what I needed. I'm not lost anymore. Thank you.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Item 9C, consider a resolution awarding a contract to McInnes Construction Incorporated in the amount of $41,535.70 for the radio read meter change-out project for fiscal year 2018. Mr. Wolf.
Yes, Mayor, Council, thank you. Each year in our Water Utilities Enterprise Fund, we go out for bids to install our radio read meters. And our system now consists of about 40% radio read, computer read type meters, and the other 60% are what is normally referred to as manual read. That's where the technician actually opens the meter box and actually manually reads the meter and then dials it into his handheld computer. So we're in a transition, and it's taken a while to go through that transition because of the cost. So each year we do a bid for the installation. We buy the meters separate, and then we go out for the labor portion of the installation. This year we conducted a mandatory pre-bid on August the 1st. We opened bids on August the 8th. We had 4 contractors attend the mandatory pre-bid, and we had 1 contractor to actually turn a bid in. So we only have 1 bid to work with. It's in the amount of $41,535.70. It was furnished to the city from McInnes Construction of Silsbee, Texas. We're familiar with them. They're a quality contractor. And we recommend award to that contractor.
How far do you think we are in the changing out the meters?
We're probably on a 20-year program, and we're into it. Like I say, 40% radio read, 60% manual read.
And we want all to be radio read.
And we would always, in the future, want to be radio read.
I know that some of those you had to like drive by, and some used to that you had to take a wand and go across them How does this one read? Does it transfer whenever they come by?
When they come by, yes,
So
certain
from the vehicle.
ones, if we have difficulty with the transmission, then they'll have to get out and approach the meter. Should the meter be underwater, we've had to raise the
Okay.
antennas up. Every situation might be a little different depending on the vegetation growth and where it's located, but 98% of the time, they'll pick it up with the computer device that they use.
Yeah, I spoke to you earlier, and you said that several of these have to be broken out, they're in concrete in the streets.
Yeah, we have about,
Sidewalks.
this is 109 different locations in this particular bid, and probably around 20 to 25 of these are in concrete, where the meter boxes are actually in concrete, a concrete sidewalk, concrete driveway, maybe an edge of a parking lot. So the cost per meter on this bid is a little bit higher than what we saw last year because of the concrete being present.
Okay, yeah, I just noticed the three-quarter ones are 92, so you got some larger ones. Well, it says, they've got 2-inch service tubing where they haven't run very much 2-inch line.
Well, we have a combination of, we have 92 5/8-inch meters, and then we have 11 1-inch radio reads. We have 3 1.5-inch, and then we have 3 2-inch. So it's spec'd out to accommodate the different size service lines that we have, as well as the meter
Yeah,
connections.
and all of these prices were just the labor to install. Right?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wolf, how long is the longevity of these? I mean, how long do they last?
How long does a meter last?
Yes, sir.
Probably has a 20-year life.
20-year life?
20-year
That's good.
life.
Okay.
We may find that the batteries on some of these won't last 20 years, and we'll have to start replacing those maybe at 15 years.
Okay.
It depends on the type of signal and the frequency of the signal and the different factors, different,
sir.
environmental factors.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wolf, just out of curiosity, what was the miscalculation? Is that going to make one of the other bidders complain? On your note here, it says, due to the miscalculation, the price is $41,535 with no addendums.
Yeah, on their spreadsheet, it's contained in your agenda there, there's in this section, on
It's
the bid
a third
form,
item.
on the
Third
bid
item.
form itself, they made a $10 error in their
Okay.
calculation.
We're not talking major.
Councilman Childs, the failure to turn in a bid they failed to even turn in a bid.
The other bidders?
Yeah, so it's a moot point for them to argue the pricing, and the city reserves the right to consider the bids as turned in.
Mr. Wolf, 41,535, what percentage is that? Like you say, you got 40% out right now. What percentage will that add to the 40 for that price?
Well, the pure numbers, we have about 6,800 meters. On average, if you divide that by 20 years, it's probably 350 meters a year. So this year, we just didn't have the funds available to do what we would ordinarily, theoretically like to do.
What would be your guess on that, though, 41,000? What's the percentage that it's going to raise from the 40%? 42?
Well, it's 109 meters, and we have probably, we're at 40% of the 6,800 meters, so it's calculatable, Again, we need to probably
how
be
many-
averaging 350 a year to make 20 years, and
How many total meters do we have?
we have
600.
6,800 meters totally. And if we divide that by, presently, we have
That's
about
0.016%, so it doesn't raise it up a whole bunch. But,
Right.
But they're getting some harder ones to do that are a little bit more work than the average one. That's what I was asking about earlier today. And it's just a very minimal in the difference.
We just need a motion.
So, but, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. This resolution passes. Thank you, Mr. Wolf.
It's gonna save a lot of labor in the long run. Every time they read those things, it's gonna save labor.
Consider a resolution appointing Brooks, Watson and Company, PLLC, as independent auditor for the city of Orange, Texas, and authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for the provision of such services for a 5-year period, and authorizing the city manager to execute an engagement letter for audit services on behalf of the city of Orange and Orange Economic Development Corporation for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2018. Ms. Zito.
Yes. Per our new proper procurement process, we had a committee that volunteered of council members to interview our auditors. We only received 3 proposals, and they interviewed all 3. I think our interviews went very well. We learned a lot. They looked at their qualifications, their auditing procedures, their experience, their staffing levels, their knowledge, and all the committee members scored each proposal, and Ms. McNeil, our procurement officer, she tallied everything up. And so on behalf of the committee and staff, we recommend that the award goes to Brooke Watson.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I have to add to that. It was great to be on that committee. It was nice to be able to look at each of the guys that came in, and they were all very good. And it was nice that the 3 of us that were on that committee, we were unanimous. It was a no-brainer. Brooks Watson, they were very professional. They were personable. You know, they dealt with some of the crazy questions that we threw at them, and it was a nice process. And I thank you guys for giving us the documentation that we needed so that we could be prepared, so that we could be better prepared here. And I thank you for that.
I agree with her wholeheartedly. It was a learning experience and a great time,
I think it was
we
a very
did what
good
we felt
process.
would be right for the citizens and the city of Orange. And I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And before we go on to the next, you kind of got me there. I was going to throw that in there. I wanted to thank Mayor Pro Tem Patrick Pullen. I wanted to thank Ms. Annette Purnell. And last but not least, Mr. Paul Birch for volunteering for that committee. And I heard you guys had pizza and Mountain Dew and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I missed
All
that.
right, good. Okay, on to item 10, discussion or action. 10A, consider a motion approving action taken by the Orange Economic Development Corporation to enter into an agreement with Triangle Rescue for the expenditure of funds for infrastructure improvements at 3875 IH-10 East Orange, Texas, in an amount not to exceed $75,000 for the purpose of economic development. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir, Mayor, Council. As you mentioned, this was action taken at the prior meeting by the Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors. Just a few highlights. I'll point you to the rendering in terms of the project. It will be located east of the current American Red Cross building out at Interstate 10. It's approximately a $560,000 capital investment, 7 full-time jobs, up to 30 part-time jobs. And so basically, this is a follow-up to the EDC board meeting in terms of moving the project forward.
I'll
Thank
make
you.
a motion.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to item 10B. I'm sorry, motion passes. On to item 10B. Consider a motion reappointing Ashley Tarver to the Convention and Visitors Bureau Advisory Board for a 2-year term, August 28, 2018 through August 27th, 2020. Mr. Trahan.
Yes, sir. So Miss Ashley Tarver served the past 2 years, and she is available to continue serving for an additional 2-year term. So subject to your approval, she'll be reappointed to the CVB Advisory Board for another 2-year term.
Motion.
Second.
Well, that was a no, and then that was the second. So that's a motion. I need a second.
He
I
said
made a
motion.
motion.
Oh, I just said no.
No, I said
Oh,
motion.
I was like, man. I was like, what'd she do to you?
Bill's getting tired.
I was like, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, because I don't know what's going on with Bill. Okay, sorry, guys. Motion and second.
Motion, yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. This is gonna be all over YouTube, I know it. Okay, sorry, guys. Item 10C, discussion and possible action regarding necessary business resulting from Hurricane Harvey. Dr. Ubry.
No report, Mayor and Council.
You're gonna have me in all kind of trouble.
You know, okay, yes, sir, no, I'm sorry. Before we go to the next item, talking about discussion and possible action, I just wanted to take a second to reflect. At this time, a year ago, is when everything, the flooding had started. And I just want to take a moment to thank all of the city staff, our fire department, police department, everyone the people who kept the water working and the sewers flowing. Thank you to everybody that went above and beyond. All of you were Harvey heroes. To the council members that were out there doing their best, to the citizens that were out there breaking their backs to help one another. There was no color. There was no what side of town you live on. Everyone was thanking God that we were alive and we were doing our best to help each other. So here we are a year later. We thank God for where we are now, and we're going to pray against this disturbance that we are seeing in the news, because we don't need that again. So thank you all, and God bless. On to item 11. We're going to recess the regular meeting of Orange City Council, and we're going to item 11A, recess regular meeting of the City of Orange City Council to convene a meeting of the City of Orange Employee Benefits Trust to approve selection for health insurance, dental insurance, and vision insurance for city employees. And Jay Trahan, they are allowed to stay in here, right? Or do they have to?
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
open meeting. It's not an
Good.
executive session. Thank you for asking.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Mayor, go ahead and read item 12.
Okay, item 12, convene meeting of City of Orange Employee Benefits Trust. I will now call this meeting to order. Item 12B, consider a motion acknowledging the receipt of and authorizing Trustee Spears to sign the City of Orange Employee Benefit Prospective Premium Projection Renewal for the period of October 1st, 2018 through September 30th of 2019. Ms. Zito.
Yes, Mayor, we just need your authorization as receipt of our renewal rates. Our insurance consultants, McGriff, they just sent this over. We've already told you we had a 3.7 increase in medical. We had 0 increase for dental or life or vision, but they just send over the actual rates, and we just have to acknowledge receipt of that.
Okay. Are there any questions from the council or any comments? Okay.
It's a lot of money.
Mayor, before you make a motion in a second, the whole purpose of this was established by the federal government as a IRS rule. And so really you've had to establish this trust separate of a council action by IRS regulations to avoid being taxed on these premiums. You used to do this just by approving the contract as a part of your council meeting, but they had to put this probably 8 or 10 years ago is how long we've been doing this trust, but it's the same action by council. You just have to separate it and break it out from the council meeting.
Make a motion.
I have a
I'll
motion. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, on to item 12C. Consider a motion approving employee medical insurance with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas at a $3,400,735 annual premium for a period of 1 year. Ms. Zito.
This is just the motion to accept our contract with Blue Cross Blue Shield at that annual premium, which is our 3.7 increase across all plans.
Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 12D. Consider a motion renewing employee dental insurance with MetLife for a period of 1 year at a 0% increase in rates. Ms. Zito.
Yep, so the same thing, we just need to pass this motion to extend our contract, and we had a 0 increase, which is
Motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to item 12E. Consider a motion renewing employee vision insurance with MetLife for a period of 1 year at a 0% increase in rates. Ms. Zito.
Again, this is our vision insurance at a 0 increase. Our consultants are doing a good job.
Yes.
Motion.
Good job.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. On to item 12F. Consider a motion renewing employee life insurance with Cigna Group Insurance for a period of 1 year at a 0% increase in rates. Ms. Zito.
Yep, same for our life insurance with no increase.
Okay.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
On to item 12G, we will now adjourn the meeting of City of Orange Employee Benefits and Trust. Thank you.
Congratulations on all the zeros.
We will now go to item 13, reconvene meeting of City of Orange City Council. Consider a motion authorizing the monthly transfer of funds from the City of Orange to the City of Orange Employee Benefits Trust to pay for employee-related benefits. Ms. Zito, one more time.
That was me too. That just allows staff, we put money monthly from the general fund over to the trust, so to pay the insurance bills. So that just allows us to do that.
Thank you.
Yes, you can trust it.
Motion.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to item 14, reports. Our city manager report, Dr. Ubry.
One real quick report, Mayor and Council, and it's an update on the overlay and paving of Sunset. When the contractor got to work on paving it, hot mix surface, they found that CenterPoint Energy had a gas line just a couple of inches below the surface. So they've had to go back to the drawing board and re-engineer the replacement of that line, the replacement of that gas line, so they can come back and complete the project. So the project didn't stall. The project had a complication that was unknown to the city or the bidder. And we've had to use CenterPoint to come in and relocate their line. And they should begin that process. They've engineered it, so they should begin the actual relocation of that line next week, weather permitting.
They never had a problem about breaking the line or anything, huh? Did they actually cut it? I just had that question asked.
No, there's no additional cost to the city. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Okay. On to our city council report, starting at my left. Nothing?
I don't have a report, but I do want to say, when I first moved here, this was one of the first things that I did. I'm a nerd. I had so much fun. And I am planning on coming to do this again with my grandchildren so that they can be nerds as well. This is fun, guys. He is extremely, extremely knowledgeable. And it's amazing that he wants to share that knowledge. Get my little country accent with little o us. This is wonderful. I do encourage you guys to go out and see how beautiful it is along the water. One of the things that freaked me out was the change in color of the alligators. That was weird. We got to see one on the Texas side that was one color. I didn't even know we crossed over into Louisiana, and you pointed out, check out his color. Two different colors. I don't know if they know that there's a line in the water, but, and it was nice. And the boat is very quiet. So the alligators actually they didn't even pay attention to us. So I do want to encourage you guys, put your nerd hat on and go out and enjoy it. If you like photography, like this handsome man over here, then you will take some wonderful pictures. I have some on my wall today. And the second thing is this beautiful young lady that came up with this book. I met her at Shangri-La when we were watching WALL-E. Well, we were actually just watching my grandson be bad, but WALL-E was showing at that time, and she struck a chord in my heart, and I asked her to come and share this. Some of these will be donated to the library so that everybody can read it. It's amazing what we don't know that's happening around us. And this is one of those things that we have to be cognizant of. That's my report. Thank you.
I do have something I want to say pertaining to that. Texas cosmetology and barbers now have implemented laws to us where we have to display on our windows about human trafficking. So they're very, very conscious in trying to make everybody aware. That's why we have to have that on our windows for the public to see.
Wow.
So
It's nice to know.
they are serious.
That's good.
Well, I'm excited about this too. I think Orange has a lot of potential, and we really have a lot of treasures here in Orange. And I'm just excited about our growth. We are moving in the right direction, but we all, like I said, we all have to do our part. So I'm excited about Orange, and I'm excited about things like this. This is great. This is wonderful. To bring people here to explore and for children and adults to learn new things. So I too look forward to doing this as well. And thank you all for being here. So great night tonight.
I'd like to thank everybody that came up and took their 3 minutes. We really appreciate it. It lets us know what's on your mind without y'all coming up and talking to us and telling us what's going on out there from your perspective. We don't know which direction to go, so thank y'all so much. And I'd like to welcome Commissioner Trahan over there, my friend.
Well, he just popped my bubble. Same thing, thank you for coming, thank you for talking to us. We don't know your problems unless you bring them to us. And believe it or not, we take heed. You can look on my book, I wrote down every one of your concerns, and we will look into them. So again, thank you for coming.
All right, thank you all for coming, as they all have said. And I want to thank all these city council members up here for the work that they do, the city staff once again. And we will now move to item 15, adjourn to closed executive session. Item 15A, deliberation regarding personnel matters pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. 1, deliberation regarding personnel matters is authorized by subsection 551.074, City Manager's Performance Review. Item 15B, deliberation with City Attorney pursuant to Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Deliberation with legal counsel regarding pending or contemplated litigation as authorized by subsection 551.071, consultation on collective bargaining agreement negotiations with the Orange Municipal Police Association. At this time, if you are not a part of City Council or staff, you are asked to please step outside. You can, I believe the library may still be open at this time with some AC for you, and we will let you know when you are able to come back in. Thank you.
I was going to walk. We're getting ready to walk.